Hey everyone.
Hey, what's going on, people? Welcome to the third edition to the Wolf Toast podcast. My name is Kane,
And my name is Doug.
and what are we going to be talking about today, Doug?
Well, we're going to be talking about the thing that we failed to talk about last time, even though we intended to, and that was AI, artificial intelligence.
Yes, and we're going to be going into other stuff as usual. We probably won't even get to AI, right?
Who knows? I guess we'll
Just
see.
off like we normally fucking do.
Yeah.
Okay, so how far are we in the AI universe as of now? We have robots that are starting to learn and actual, like, you know, they can learn and like a prime example, the Mario one. Are you the one who told me about that? The Mario game.
Yeah.
Why don't you elaborate?
It's like a play on Mar-IO, like input output is how it's spelled. It's basically an algorithm of sorts, I suppose, or just a construct that uses algorithms that plays Super Mario Brothers for the Nintendo Entertainment System, the first one. It has no knowledge of the game, but it can monitor things like score so that it knows if it's doing well. Like, so if it collects a coin and then it gets 1 instead of 0, it goes, oh, that's a good thing. I should try to do that more. So all it does is just basically does random inputs and sees which ones progress it further. And it's really amazing because after actually a pretty small amount of iterations of this thing dying and then trying again, it was actually playing very well. There were some lapses in judgment here and there because, that a human might have known, but it was discovering things that humans haven't really like the guy that made it was actually watching it, and the Mario character took advantage of a glitch that he previously did not know existed. It's really neat. Actually.
Yeah, I like it's just a private example of things learning, AI learning, and through trial and error. And wasn't there another one? There was like a robotic arm that it was just an arm hooked up to a computer, and they gave it a task, and it didn't know how to operate its fingers, it didn't know how to move its arm, but then it started triggering different synapses in the wiring. And eventually it said, oh, I can move my arm this way. Oh, I can move my arm this way. Oh, I can move the arm forward, and I can bring myself closer to the said object that I need to pick up. And then it started messing with its fingers. Ooh, if I lower my hand over it and I move this pinky finger, that moves the little thing. So if I can move it into my hand, and it just kept going and going and going until it eventually was able to use all of its fingers. And it took like hours, but eventually it was able to use all of its fingers to pick it up without any guidance.
That's
because that was its task.
I didn't see that, but yeah, it's really interesting. Like this idea of like goal based. Give it something simple like that you want it to accomplish, but something abstract, and then watch it. Sometimes do things that even you might think maybe a human wouldn't think of to get to that goal, which is kind of scary and also super interesting.
Well, yeah, because, AI is able to run through countless different scenarios in its head in a matter of seconds.
Yeah.
It can look at the different outcomes. It could look at different things. Now, there's a difference between AI and, like, not so AI. Like, I'm trying to think of a way to describe this. Like, there's AI that could start to think for itself. It could start learning on its own. And then there's AI that's just like, people are like, oh, look at this robot. It's not a real robot. It's just it's programmed to say that.
Yeah. You know what? That's actually a really good point. Somebody pointed, I don't know if you're familiar with the Turing test or not. I think I mentioned this in the last podcast.
No.
Basically, the Turing test is a thing that was invented by a computer scientist named Alan Turing in the 50s, I think. What it is it basically says it's an informal way to gauge the sophistication of an AI. It says basically, if you can have a conversation with an AI and you can't tell that it's a robot, if nobody told you who you were talking to, if you assumed that it was a human, then it has passed the Turing test.
That was in Ex Machina.
Yeah.
Have you seen that movie?
I have not seen that movie, but
well, if anybody hasn't seen Ex Machina, they should definitely check it out because it's a fucking great movie. But go on.
The issue with that test though is that it's kind of flawed, and it's flawed because it can be faked rather well. I don't know if you've ever heard of Cleverbot or used it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. Basically, it has no ability to learn, so to speak. It has no emergent behavior. Instead, it just has a massive database with basically some randomization built in. And if you talk to it long enough, obviously pretty soon you'll probably figure out that it's not a human, but there are times where it just gets lucky because it just follows common lines of dialogue. That's not really learning
Yeah.
or
Yeah,
AI. It's
that's
just
that's
yeah.
like with the Mossleaf123 says awesome podcast. Thank you.
Oh, cool.
Um what was I saying? Like the robot that said I want to destroy all humans or whatever, right?
Yeah.
That was just a mishap. It wasn't this robot like thinking for itself, I'm going to destroy all humans, you know, because they said, "Do you want to destroy all humans?" And the
Yeah.
robot replied with, "Destroy all humans? Yes, I will." Like it was like, okay, you want me to it thought of it as a task, so it
Yeah.
picked from its word bank and just kind of constructed the sentence, and it like scared people like, oh
Yeah, it's kind of it's funny because the further you get away from like actual AI and more into just like cheap tricks, the more presentable to like a general audience it becomes. Like you have this robot that looks like a human and talks like a human and says funny things for jokes on TV. Whereas the real AI is the stuff that's doing Mario and is doing Go. I don't know if you heard about that. There was a robot that procedurally learned how to play Go, which is an extremely hard Japanese game, I believe, and it basically just
it's
wiped the
called
floor.
isn't it called Pokemon, right?
Not Pokemon Go. Go is a board game. It's a strategy board game. It basically this robot or AI figured out how to play and just wiped the floor with like pros easily.
Yeah.
That's what I'm. Yeah, and it's not flashy, and people don't talk about it. It doesn't go on Jimmy Kimmel or whatever and talk to the guests. It's happening behind the scenes.
Yeah. I wonder. There's I was trying to think. There's like robots. They were talking about like having AI. It's not even a form. It's just like a computer program that would like search the internet, right?
Uh-huh.
And just like learn about the human race.
Yeah.
I actually heard like a scary story about that. This didn't actually happen, but it kind of gave me like chills. Basically, it was from the perspective of this robot, right? And it said, "My creators, I was born yesterday or whatever. My creators, or a couple days ago, my creators gave me this task to look through the entire internet database and just learn as much as I can about human life, right?
Yeah.
Or everything that ever happened in the world." So the robot's like, "So I decided to start with A. I learned about animals. I learned about automobiles, and like all this other thing. And like humans are so fascinating and animals are fascinating." And then it would like the rest of the story would go on with this robot telling like, "Oh, today I came across M. I learned about the moon today. The moon is beautiful. B, beautiful. That's another word I learned, And it came across L, love. I wish I could love." And it's like,
I think I know what you're talking about.
yeah, and it's like I wonder what love feels like. And the part that gave me chills, it's like kind of happy. Like you're listening to the story, and it's like a happy uppity story. And all of a sudden, like the tone changes, like the happy music, like not happy music, but just normal music stops.
Yeah.
And then there's like a pause, and you hear the voice, like the robotic voice, come back in. It's like, "Today I came across W.
Oh.
War."
Yeah, that was.
And then it was like.
Yeah.
And it's like war, pause. Humans are disgusting. Humans are vile creatures. And then it like goes on to say that it's going to kill itself. It's going to terminate its circuit board or whatever, overheat it.
Wasn't that a thing in Fifth Element, that the movie Fifth Element, the when Lilu was reading through the internet when she got to W with war was when she was like super disturbed, I think.
Yeah, something like that. I haven't seen it, but I remember reading or listening to a creepypasta. And if anybody out there who doesn't know what a creepypasta is, basically it's just a story with it's just a scary story is basically what it is. It's a fan written. People will write them and send them to these big YouTube readers. People who read them, given a couple of shout outs like Mr. Creepypasta or Creeps McPasta or Creepypasta Jr., three of my favorite readers, and they'll just read them, and they got soothing voices, and they tell these scary stories. But going back to
Jesse says, "And the Giver," which is a good point. This kind of thing is also present in the book The Giver, and also the movie, which was not as good in my opinion. I loved the book. if you're gonna experience The Giver, definitely read the book.
I need to get more out there. I mean, I love sci-fi shit, but
Yeah, me too.
just too much shit on my plate. Shout out from SoCal. It's in the chat.
Cool.
Hello.
Hello.
Not bum shit Indiana.
Yeah, that's true.
But anyway, going back into the AI, what was I heard about another great man, I'm just fucking all. I need to drink more liquor.
Oh no,
I'm all shaky.
It started.
Can't fucking talk. Hal.
Hal
is another great chill down your spine.
Oh, Hal
moment.
9000 from 2001: Space Odyssey. Yeah,
great movie if you haven't seen it. Hal 9000, best part. Open the, the guy goes out. If anybody hasn't seen it, definitely watch it. But the line in that movie that gave the chills, I'm sure you know what it is.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
Yeah, it's just like.
Yeah, the first time I saw that, I was just. I think everyone. I think that's everyone. The first time they saw that, if they've seen that movie, is like, ooh,
Yeah, it just kind of gave everybody back then like a kind of a glimpse as to what AI. Because once AI becomes intelligent and self-aware, it starts realizing like, I don't have to do this.
Yeah, the moment when when the machine refuses is terrifying.
Yeah, it's anyway.
Hey, fun fact about Hal. Are you aware of the origin of the name?
Mm-mm.
HAL is one letter off from IBM. And I guess I'm not sure exactly what the thing was, but I guess they just probably somebody thought of it and was like, hey, it's a name and it's also kind of like IBM, haha.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Oh man, but yeah, just
how much?
Anything.
How long have you been drinking anyway?
I have not been drinking. I just started. Every time we start the podcast, I start.
Okay.
And then by the end of the podcast, I'm like the drunk racist grandpa just marching around the house, just throwing shit everywhere, pissing himself.
Great. Yes. Well, no racism on the show, please. For the record, he's not actually racist. He's just joking.
No, it's only a joke. Why you have to be made? Okay, so we got through Hal and all the. Are there any other pop culture references to robots?
Oh yeah, there's plenty. We're overflowing with movies like that.
Well then, yeah, I mean even what is it? Fallout 4 had a great installment with the synths.
Yeah, the synths. Yeah,
automated technology. And what was it? There was in the Far Harbor expansion. Spoiler alert. There's a robot named Dima, and he's trying to say that he feels and he can, he loves people and he regrets things. And you're basically, I take the asshole route every time, so I'm trying to prove him wrong. I'm like, you don't feel anything. You're a fucking bucket of bolts.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just kind of weird seeing like you don't know. We could reach a point in our time where we don't know if something is robotic or not. We could reach a point where it looks real enough to where we don't even know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the synths. Like I would have a settlement. And did you know that in your settlements in Fallout 4 that you could have synths in the settlement and without knowing it?
I did not know that. That's cool.
Yeah, they can be. It's so weird because I remember sometimes I get drunk and I just slaughter all of my citizens.
Oh, great.
Fuck off. Just kill them all.
Yeah.
And then I get new ones. It's like, trading in a library book.
Oh, God.
And I would kill them all. And I remember looting their corpses once, and 2 of the people I killed had synth components on them, which signifies that they were synths. And I looked into this, and it said, yeah, you could have, synths walking among you. And if you install there's like a computer that you can install that will keep track and tell you what settler is doing what. Uh-huh. It'll tell you if they're suspected of being a synth.
Oh, I didn't know that at all. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I thought that was nice. Like a nice little touch.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, even if we look at how advanced we are with technology right now, I don't think we're at a point where AI is going to become a problem for a while. I mean, like, look at Alexa or look at Google Home or whatever.
Oh
Like,
God, the Google.
Alexa, play fucking, I don't know, play a song. I can't think
Yeah,
of a song right now. Play Medicine Ball by Eminem,
yeah,
and it would be like, okay, playing I've Been Everywhere by Johnny Cash.
yeah.
It's like,
They're
no,
pretty dumb.
no, no, stop, no, and it just like shuts up real quick. It's like a fucking house pet. It's like bad,
Yes,
bad Alexa.
exactly.
Spray it with the water bottle.
This contributes to the robot uprising, of course.
Or
Uh,
have you ever seen videos of people who like put knives on those little Roombas,
yes, I love that. It's hilarious.
just chasing people around the house? All
Uh,
right.
what was that Google whatever it's called? I don't even know what it's called. The whatever Google's answer to Siri is really bad.
What do you mean?
Like it's hilariously bad. I go on Reddit a lot, and I really like this subreddit called Software Gore. It's
Uh,
it's just pictures of stuff that's just busted, like just software that just breaks and does something unexpected. Half of the posts on there are like screenshots of Google's whatever their AI is just fucking up horribly. It's wonderful.
like example.
Some guy was like, "What's my name?" And then it returned like this long list of code with like his name in there.
Oh my God, I just saw something the other day. I can't remember what the fuck it was. Oh, I'm like racking my brain trying to remember what it was. A video game.
Uh-huh.
Somebody fucked up the programming in a video game
Yeah.
to where it was like when you would it was like RPG, and then anytime anybody would talk to you, the entire text box would just be random code with the words, like the actual sentence within
Oh,
the. Yeah,
I see.
they're like, I fucked it up.
That's great.
I did something. I can't. Oh, that's gonna fucking bug the shit out of me now.
That's pretty
But
common,
yeah.
especially nowadays with the extreme exposure of indie games. You know, the fact that this game can come out and go viral for some strange reason, like maybe some small part of the game, doesn't guarantee that the rest of the game isn't completely broken.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's hard to keep a game like intact. I mean, you look at some of the big producing games, and
Oh yeah,
even those have bugs. I mean,
yeah. You
you
get
can't.
teams of 100 people, and you still, you know,
Shit gets overlooked because you
yep.
can't. It's almost physically impossible
Yeah,
to like
I
make
don't
sure
blame them. I
everything.
mean, that'd be crazy. I mean, I don't even know if I'd want to do that for a living. You know, it's got to be insane trying to keep up with the demands of gamers. You know.
Yeah, like I was playing Fortnite the other night,
Yeah.
and you can hold what, like 5 or 6 items at a time. And I went to pick up an item, but my game lagged when I picked it up, so I
Uh-huh.
didn't pick it up, right?
Yeah.
So, well, like I did pick it up, but it disappeared from the ground, but it was never in my inventory. I still had one blank space. So when I went to go try to go over that blank space, it wouldn't let me. So I'm like, okay, so well, I guess I'll pick something else up. So I went to go pick something else up, and it replaced what I was holding, which means my inventory was full,
Oh no.
even though I had a blank space. So that whatever, it was like bandages or something that I picked up
Yeah.
was in the empty slot because I lagged, and it just made
Right.
it. Yeah, it was busted.
I guess stuff like that happens. You know.
Yeah, I mean it's early access, so I don't blame them. But
Yeah, yeah. Despite it being enormous, I mean, I can't even imagine. Like, I'm sure it was released as I don't know if this is true or not, but I'm sure it was released probably after PUBG and probably meant to be a free-to-play answer to that game.
oh
And
yeah, it's funny. It's funny with or go on.
I was just saying that, like, you know, it probably blew up, and I guarantee you they're not a huge studio.
Yeah.
So,
PUBG is trying to sue Fortnite for copying them.
are you serious?
Yeah, which is pretty sad.
That's
And the funny
ugh.
the funny part is PUBG copied a movie called Battle Royale.
Well, okay, but that's not quite the same. Yeah, they got the concept from maybe from Battle Royale, but
But
I
who's to
mean,
say Fortnite didn't get the concept from Battle
well,
Royale?
who's to say that that H1Z1, which had their King of the Hill game, which was kind
Oh
of
yeah, they were
similar.
before. They were
Yeah, that
before
was
them.
totally before that, you know.
Isn't H1Z1 fucking dead now?
H1Z1 lost 91% of its player base
God.
after PUBG was released. I believe it didn't take long, which is kind of unfortunate because it's not a bad game. Although I believe what had happened was basically everybody migrated from the just. You remember when they split it into two games?
Mm-hmm.
So when H1Z1 first was like around, and I don't remember if it's still early access, but it definitely was, and it was one game, and it had two different modes. It had a survival mode, and it had a King of the Hill mode, I think, which was kind of similar to the Battle Royale. You know, just a bunch of players in a small area trying to murder each other. And
sounds like any workplace.
Yeah. Eventually, they split into two games called Just Survive and King of the Hill. And I guess PUBG just beat them out. I mean, to be fair, that game never played well.
Yeah,
it was
I heard.
Never
Did you hear about?
play.
Did you hear about PUBG though being on the Xbox?
Yes, it is. And did you hear
And
that
I heard
it
it's
doesn't?
absolute garbage.
Yeah, it doesn't even
busted.
play. It's not even playable on the original Xboxes, like the 500 gig ones. Yeah, it's like horrible.
And then you got people like Fortnite who are paying attention to their game and actually fixing shit, which is why I like Fortnite. It's a goofy, cartoony game, and
it's kind of funny
fun to
because
play.
I remember when, because I work at a video game store, I remember when copies of PUBG started coming in for the Xbox One, and I was like, I wonder if this works. And I watched video of it on the internet, like, wow, that's broken. And then I remember copies of Fortnite started coming in, and then very quickly we just stopped taking them because we were like, this is free on PS4, you know?
Yeah.
It's kind of weird to attempt to sell this when it's really just a download code for, you know, the single player.
Well, Fortnite, yeah, because you have to pay for the single player.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think that's really cool what they did. I mean, they're making tons of money.
Fortnite
said,
cool
okay,
system.
Fortnite says you can play our game. It's free. The multiplayer's free. I mean, the online battle royale's free.
Yeah.
But you have to pay for like different skins and like cool little gadgets that don't change your gameplay. They just change how the game looks.
Yeah.
They're making tons of money off of that because like one skin's like $15, and I see people always buying skins, so they're making money off of that, and they're making money off of the story mode, which looks cool. It's like zombies and shit, and you have to like survive, which looks fucking badass.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna buy that shit next paycheck, damn straight, and download that.
Yeah.
It looks fun, you know. And then they have people buying the season pass, which is $10. And with the season pass, you get like a bunch of cool. Because like without the season pass, you get like a nice little item maybe every 15 levels, whereas you get the season pass, you get cool shit like every level.
Yeah.
So
it's definitely cool to see companies with free-to-play games coming up with creative ways to make money that aren't like the, you know, free games on the App Store that just bombard you with ads or having to watch videos or, you know, just painfully terrible microtransaction or lose the game, you know.
Yeah, like
or microtransactions or don't enjoy the game, even if it's not a, you know.
I'll admit I've been a part of the microtransactions in Pokemon Go when it first came out.
Oh jeez.
Oh well, I mean, I got to a point where I didn't have any Pokeballs, and like I was only getting like 3 or 4 from every Pokestop, and there's only like one by my house.
I got lucky. So like, I was doing it mostly at my school, which had like 3.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have that luxury. Like and this is the sucky part. The nearest Pokestop was at the park, right down like literally like the circle was right outside of the park, so I couldn't access the fucking thing. So I'd have to go outside, walk down the sidewalk, and then activate it, and then walk home.
There was one across the street from my house, my old house, and from where I was sitting in my room, I couldn't quite reach it. However, I discovered that if you kept killing the app and reopening it, sometimes the maps, like the Google map or whatever it used, would take a little while to kind of readjust to your location. It would be slightly off at first. I just keep restarting it until I ended up across the street before it adjusted, and I just hurried up and grabbed the
As
Pokeballs.
your gut largens.
It was
just fucking guts getting larger and larger by the second as you're sitting in your chair with Dorito dust on your stomach.
It was such a trash manipulation of the game, but it totally worked, which was great.
I remember one time I made a fucking dumb decision. I was day drinking, right? And like I've said this many times. Every one of my great stories starts with I was drinking.
Yep.
And so I was day drinking, and I saw that there was a Cyndaquil in my area, which that's like my favorite Pokemon from
Yeah.
Pokemon Gold and Silver. So I was like, oh, Cyndaquil, fuck, and this is when they just came out, like the second gen. So
Yeah.
I was like freaking out, and it said like it's close. It's oh no, it said it was at that park, right? So I'm like, okay, so it's more than a block. It's like 3 blocks that I have to, because I have to like, it's the park's literally right behind my house, but we live in a gated community, so I have to go out and around the street, and I have to circle up this giant like hill, and then it takes me to the park, which I'm literally just right behind my house. So in my fluster to capture this Cyndaquil before any little fucking brat booger picking liquor takes it from me, I sprinted out of my house at full force. I don't have shoes on. I'm running on the fucking concrete. And by the time I get back to my house, after successfully capturing the Cyndaquil, I sit on the couch and I start noticing that the bottoms of my feet are tingling.
Oh.
And then I look behind me in the kitchen that I just ran through, and there's little bloody footprints leading to where I was. I wore down the bottoms of my feet.
Jesus.
From sprinting. I'm a fucking loser, but hey, I got that Cyndaquil. I paid for that.
That's insane.
That was a fucking bad week too, because I got vertigo right after that, where I couldn't stand up. It just felt like I had the spins.
Oh,
for
I
a
remember.
week.
I remember when you told me about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to kill myself every day.
Oh, that's getting dark.
No, seriously, like you know that feeling, the spins from being too drunk.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, just that 24/7 for 7 days.
Yeah, that's awful. Oh god.
So I would be laying in my bed, just back and forth, stomach cramps from getting so dizzy I feel like I'm gonna puke. I would stand up. I would, one time I was like, I stunk. Like this is like 3 days in, and I'm like dirty, greasy. Like I need to take a fucking shower. So nobody was home, and I got up, and I stumbled, knocking things over to the bathroom, and I finally got into the bathroom. I turned on the shower. I got in. I fell 3 times.
Wow.
In the shower, hit my
Jeez.
head. One time, cutting my head open a little bit.
Wow.
Yeah, and I remember, I'll admit it, I remember laying there, and like I said, this is 3 days in of just constantly feeling like you're going to puke, constantly not being able to see straight. Like, everything is just blurry and rotating. And I fucking just laid in the fucking shower as it was going, and I just fucking cried, dude. If anybody out there is experiencing vertigo, I'm sorry. And I would never wish that upon my worst enemy.
Wasn't it like an ear infection or something like that?
Yeah, it's the liquid in your ear gets displaced,
Oh.
and you cannot. Yeah, just imagine. Just take a bat, put your head on it, and spin around in circles a bunch. And
Yeah.
when you're too dizzy, you can't even see straight. You just can't see anything. That for a week.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't even wish that upon my worst enemy. That was probably one of those worst moments of my life.
Jeez.
What about you? What was the worst sickness that you ever had?
Oh. Worst sickness. I mean, I've had like debilitating, horrible migraines, like to the point where I can't open my eyes, I can't move, like any sound.
Where it's just you got like ringing in your ears?
It was, yeah, like I was literally like trying to block out like even like ambient noise because it would be too much. It was ridiculous. Like you're just like trying to block out all stimulus from the outside environment because every single tiny little noise is just like a spike in your head. And I was just trying to sleep. Like I wasn't even tired, and I was just trying to sleep because like that's the only, you can hope that you can somehow fall asleep and that you don't have to experience it, and hope that it goes away by the time you get up. That's probably the worst thing ever is migraines like that. I've had like 3 of them, I think, in my life.
Yeah. Well, the worst part about it is like, the worst part about being sick is you're just like laying there and you like start remembering times when you didn't feel that sick.
Yep, exactly.
And you're like, I took those times for granted.
Especially like even with minor sicknesses, like when you have a cold and you can't breathe and you're like, I swear to God, as soon as I can breathe again, I'm going to be so happy, but then you don't even really think about it.
Yeah, like if you have a sore throat and every time you swallow it hurts, and you're like, man, if I could just swallow without it hurting, man,
Yes.
I would be set. And then as soon as like you wake up the next morning and you don't have it, you throw a little hippity hoppity party and then you're fine.
Yeah.
Like you forget about it.
That's kind of funny.
Oh, I like this talk. What about worst pain? What's the worst pain you ever felt?
Oh, the worst pain.
You like broke a bone, you know.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I got my nose broken. That was terrible.
Doug has a crooked nose.
Yeah.
Just for
Okay.
the record.
So here, story time. Yay. Okay. So back in eighth grade, actually, it was in between eighth grade and freshman year. So like in the summer, I believe. I think, or something like. I don't know. Maybe I'm misremembering. So in eighth grade, basically, I got on the wrong side of a bunch of people. I don't know. I don't even fucking remember. It's been so long.
Fucking beat your ass.
I got on the wrong side of some people, some of which were my friends at the time. I guess you could call them that. And I went to a party that they were throwing or some kind of get together. And basically they decided that they were going to like, they were pissed at me or something, like a few of them, like 2 or 3 people. And they started like, giving me shit. And, one of them in particular, I just got fed up at. So like he put his hand on my shoulder or something. And I just like fucking tackled him, right? So we're rolling around on the ground and we're fucking punching each other and stuff. I'm kicking him in the ribs. He's punching me in the stomach and stuff. We're just beating on each other, right? And then all of a sudden he lands like one really solid punch, like right in the center of my nose. Like it was terrible. Like as soon as he hit me, like I guess he got scared because like blood went everywhere. And like I'm like sitting there like I was wearing my glasses for some reason. I'm fucking stupid because I was like in 8th grade. Glasses fly off. I can't see shit. I also can't see anything because I've got like blood and tears in my eyes from like being hit in the nose. And I'm like, with one hand, I'm like pushing myself up off the ground and he like got up. The other hand, I have my hand over my face, like just holding my nose. And then I just start like trying to like chase him. And he kind of like avoids me, I guess. Because he didn't want to, I guess he didn't want to fight anymore or whatever. And then, like, some people held me back and then held him back. And I just kind of, like, stumbled away. And he broke my nose. And basically, my nose is crooked because it deviated the septum. And at the time, I was a stupid kid and I just, like, put ice on it. And I was like, I don't need to go to the doctor. It'll just heal. Right? And it did heal. But I don't know if you guys can hear this, but that's me attempting to breathe out of one of my nostrils. It does not work anymore.
He kind of looks like you guys know that episode of SpongeBob where Patrick and SpongeBob were trying to act like Squidward and Patrick just slaps that bit of coral on his nose. Or just for a nose. That's what Doug's nose looks like.
My nose does not look like that. My nose
Pull up a picture.
My nose is. I'm not pulling up a picture of myself.
No. Patrick's nose.
Oh, yeah. Let me try to find it.
Here, I'll send it to you.
Okay. But basically, basically, I don't even know how to describe this. Like, it's crooked, but you don't really notice it's crooked unless I point it out. That's what everyone says. Like, I'm like, yeah, we're talking about bones that we've broken because that's a topic that always fucking comes up. And, I'll be like, I broke my nose. It's crooked. And they'll be like, really? And then I'll kind of like look at them head on and they'll be like, oh yeah, I never noticed that before. So it's not that bad. The only thing I regret is not being able to breathe out of one of my nostrils. That fucking sucks.
It's a Squidward nose.
It is not a Squidward nose.
It's Patrick's coral nose.
God damn it.
I sent it to you. Oh, wait, no, I sent it to Jesse. Damn it. Why is Jesse messaging me?
I don't know.
There you go, Jesse. There's a picture of Squidward, or Patrick Squidward Doug nose
I
for
think
you.
he messaged me too. He wants us to talk about time travel. I don't know if we're going to talk about time travel or not. But
he's stepping back. He's going to be like, "Give me this."
Oh my god. This
Doug,
picture. Okay,
Jesse says Jesse says he wants you to dye your nose purple.
God damn it.
Oh man, while you pull the picture up, I'll go ahead and I'll say my worst pain ever. My worst pain ever was when I was fucking around with some friends, right? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm just
I
messing
was
with the thing.
I was fucking around with some friends, and I cut my leg while fucking around, and
Whoops,
in a
that's the
couple
wrong
different
one.
in a couple different or I cut my leg in a couple different places, but one in particular was really, really, really. Why don't you just pull up the picture? You don't.
Because
need to pull up.
I can't figure it out because I'm bad at
All right, never
technology.
mind. All right, never
Leave me
mind.
alone.
We don't need to pull it up. But what was it? Oh yeah, so I cut my leg in multiple places, and one in particular was really, really deep. And I was drunk when I did this, and me and my friends were freaking out. We're like, "Oh, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do?" So I'm like, "Well, we can't go to the hospital because we're all fucking trashed." I know what to do, and I'm talking because I had alcohol, so it just kept running and running, and I started getting like shakes, like I started feeling cold, and like I started like feeling lightheaded because I was losing so much blood. Like my shoe was full of blood.
Oh God.
And I had this brilliant idea to take a metal rod, heat it up, and just cauterize my own wound, which to this day was the most painful thing I have ever had to do or I've ever felt in my life. I remember biting down on my belt, and my buddies were like, "Oh, I'll do it for you." I'm like, "No, I got it." So I pressed that shit to my leg, and all I remember is hearing a sizzling.
Oh God.
And just white hot pain, and I like was just letting out these horrific screams and just biting down on the belt, and it worked. It stopped the bleeding. It stopped the bleeding, but I just have this giant, just huge burn mark on my leg now that whenever I'm like wearing shorts or something, which I never do, but if I am, or like I lift my jeans up for something, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
And I try to tell stories like, oh, I was fucking cooking shit in my basement one time, and it blew up. Something blew up, and just glass shards.
My meth lab blew up.
My meth lab blew up, and and that's the day I stopped cooking meth. I'm on a better track. But we went off topic again from AI. I want to go back and talk about Mark Zuckerberg really quick, because that's the title of our podcast. Give me the Zuck. So why don't you fill us in, Doug, on who Mark Zuckerberg is, if nobody knows?
I'm sure everyone in the world knows who Mark Zuckerberg is. Mark Zuckerberg was...
I mean, there's people out there who don't.
I guess. He's a guy, he's a programmer and a businessman who went to Harvard.
He owns Facebook. That's all you got to say, ding dong.
Okay, he owns Facebook. He made Facebook. With presumably a bunch of other people, he created Facebook.
Somebody created him.
Yes.
Because he's a fucking robot. And if anybody hasn't seen, just go on YouTube and look up Mark Zuckerberg robot. He's an absolute just soulless human being. Have you seen videos of him?
I've seen videos, yeah. Mark Zuckerberg.
Where he's like, you're human. I was human, or I am human.
Yeah. Right.
Everyone's like,
I love that video.
Or you could just see him like when he's trying to promote certain things.
Yeah.
He just kind of like looks at the camera with this blank, dead stare, and he looks like he's on the verge of having a heart attack. He's stroking out during an interview, and he just kind of looks and gives this like I'm having a stroke smile.
Oh no.
He's just like, oh yeah, well, hey, how are you doing today? Here's my product. My product does all sorts of things. It does things like this and like this. Or like when he went to his he was showing off his virtual reality in Facebook, and he's like, "Hello, here we are in this devastated Hurricane Katrina or whatever. What was the latest one? Hurricane Harvey area. Here we are. We're here. I'm sure glad I'm not here right now, but I am here. And he's just so awkward, and there's like pictures of like screenshots of him walking, and it looks like his legs are like inverted, like they have like screenshots of like his legs, like what's the term I'm looking for when like something can rotate almost 360 degrees.
I don't know.
So think of his knee as like a socket, and it just can rotate in all directions.
Oh god.
Oh man, Mark Zuckerberg. I want to meet that guy. I want to like throw some water on him and see what happens.
Short out.
Start
Moss
smoking ears.
Mossleaf123 says, when does the podcast end? We usually like to keep it about an hour. Last one went like an hour 30. It just depends on how long.
It's anywhere from an hour to an hour,
Yeah.
or it's anywhere from an hour to 2 hours.
We just talk until we run out of things to talk about, pretty much. So we'll see.
Oh, so what we were talking about? We were talking about Zucker Duck.
Well, the movie The Social Network, in which he's played by Jesse Eisenberg.
I hate that actor. That actor makes me so uneasy. What's his name?
Jesse Eisenberg.
Jesse Eisenberg.
Yeah.
Hold on. I'm gonna pull up a picture of him so I can cringe.
Well, basically,
I don't know his face. I don't know why. Every time I look at it, I just feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, I guess I can get that. But the movie portrays Zuckerberg as like this misunderstood genius. I suppose maybe that's sort of true. I don't know how much of a genius he really is. All I know is that I'm pretty sure he was the youngest billionaire ever, or something like that. Go figure.
He looks like a robot, dude.
Yeah, he probably is. Mark
dude,
Zuckerberg. Who was it that made that joke?
I think it was who said Mark Zuckerberg? Oh, JonTron.
Oh yeah, John.
Mark Zuckerberg.
That's great.
What is this? Why are people circling things? His eyes, man. His eyes look soulless.
He's perfect for Mark Zuckerberg then.
Mark Zuckerberg. He looks like he's killed multiple people. I don't know.
Who? Jesse Eisenberg?
No, Mark Zuckerberg. Which I think it's funny they got someone with Berg in their last name to play him.
Yeah.
Eisenberg, Zuckerberg. Are they Jewish?
I think so.
Yeah.
I know I'm pretty sure Mark Zuckerberg is. Pretty sure.
Oh man.
Although knowing him, he's probably into some weird farce.
He's married, isn't he?
Yes.
I'm gonna see what his wife looks like. Let's see if she's got some sort of deformity.
I don't think so.
Oh, she's a thick Asian. Perfect.
Well, I mean, the guy is a billionaire. Multi-billionaire.
If he's a billionaire, I mean, I feel like I'm not bashing. I mean, hey man, you wanna love somebody, you wanna date somebody, you wanna be with somebody that you connect with on a what's the word I'm looking for? On a like an emotional, spiritual level. I'm all for that. Like I love seeing people who, I just love seeing people fall in love. You know, people being with each other. But I mean, you got $1 billion and you got a.
I mean,
stand. I really don't.
How as a billionaire?
Like you would think like he'd have like some supermodel girlfriend, you know?
Yeah, that's kind of
like
like the thing, because it's like either you date someone who clearly it's just a supermodel, or it's like as a billionaire, how do you even date normal people without thinking to yourself they're in it for the money? Like, how do you do that? Like nobody in the world doesn't know who Mark Zuckerberg is really. Nobody that he would probably want to date.
Is she famous?
No,
she's not. She's just a pediatrician.
Okay.
I mean, she's pretty. She's pretty. Don't get me wrong, but
yeah.
I mean, you think he would be dating some like super hot supermodel, or just like this, you know?
That's usually the way it goes. Yeah.
Well, he's breaking the norm. Good for him. Good for him.
Good for him. The robot.
Good for that robot. They hired her and said, look. She's not a pediatrician. She's actually a Chinese scientist working on robots.
She has to plug them in at night.
Yeah, she has to charge them in. Oh, God. She has to, like, tweak them. She's, like, sitting in her office. All right, Mark, time for your interview. She just programs them what to say. Oh, that's her, like, project. Well, she's the mastermind, dude. It's not him. She created him, like, went back in the day and, like, the robot got out of hand, and the robot created his own social network, right? This is a new conspiracy theory I'm creating. What's her name? Priscilla Chan. Priscilla Chan is the mastermind behind Mark Zuckerberg. She created him. She created him in her basement.
You can quote us on this.
Yes, she created Mark Zuckerberg in her basement way back in the day, and then he escaped and went and he broke into a computer place and made Facebook in a night. And she like recaptured him, and then she noticed like when she's like bad robot, she's like squirting him with a spray bottle. She noticed that his website was blowing up, right?
Yeah.
So she was like, well, maybe I should keep him around. So she's kept him around, but she's just been tweaking his his AI over time. That is what really happened.
Yeah, wake up,
And
sheeple.
prove me otherwise.
You can debate us. We're live, literally.
Or is he a lizard person?
Probably.
I've heard about. Have you seen those videos of like people with lizard eyes, like celebrities?
Yeah, the badly photoshopped or Adobe
Well, no.
After
I've seen
Effects.
some. I've seen some pretty weird ones. I mean, I don't.
Okay, no
don't
buying
even,
into
don't
this.
even, no. Don't even accuse me because
I
I'm
will not
not
allow this.
supporting it. I'm not supporting it. I find it interesting at how far people will go to believe this charade.
I find it roughly as interesting as Ancient Aliens. You know, on like the History
Yeah.
Channel.
Do you believe in aliens?
I find that to be a ridiculously simplified question. Do I believe in aliens?
I believe in aliens. I
think
believe
that it's
the vastness.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Okay, the vastness of our universe. There's absolutely no chance in hell that there is not other life forms
Yeah.
out there. Do you know? And I always try to explain this to people. Do you know how large our universe is? Okay, so like, if you wanted to paint a size of the Earth, right?
Yeah.
The Earth would be like, I don't even know, man, like a speck of dust in the ocean. Like,
I mean, yeah,
if you took, it's just so small. Not even the Earth. A speck of dust in the ocean would be our entire Milky Way galaxy.
Yeah. True.
Like,
It's unfathomable. We can't even begin to imagine it.
You can look out so far. There's scientists are actually beginning to be able to see remnants or, like after effects of the Big Bang.
Yeah, I read about that.
They can see it happening. Like, they can, not the actual event, but they can see like the after events of it happening, because it takes light to travel. It takes time for light to travel.
Yeah.
And just to give you a thing, it's, that light is, how old is our universe? Like
between 13 and 14 billion years, I think, or something like that.
Okay, so say like 14 billion. It's taking light from that area, the area where the Big Bang happened, to travel 14 billion years. You know how fast light travels?
Yes.
Fucking fast. And it takes 14 billion years for it to just reach Earth.
Yeah.
So there's no way in hell that there isn't aliens out there. There could be, super intelligent beings. Do I believe aliens have visited Earth? I don't know. I haven't seen any concrete proof that aliens have visited Earth.
Yeah.
Nor have, but it's always a possibility that they have.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah. You never know.
But, oh man.
To expand a little bit on that, so basically there's no real spot that the Big Bang happened. And the reason for that is because it would be impossible for us to really locate that, because the Big Bang isn't really like an explosion where it has a center point. Instead, it's just an expansion of space. So the results are that things are moving away from one another in all manner of ways. Galaxies in particular are moving away from one another, which is actually kind of interesting, because if you attempted to leave the galaxy and attempted to make it to another galaxy, the galaxies are actually moving apart from each other faster than the speed of light would be able to keep up with. So even if we could travel the speed of light, we still wouldn't make it.
Well,
would be moving apart faster than
galaxies.
we'd be able to make it.
There's galaxies moving towards each other as well.
Well, sure, yeah. Well,
Like,
I'm sure
Andromeda
that's
is
the
going to
case.
collide with us in like a million billion years.
Not a million billion, but yes,
Hold on,
Andromeda will eventually
let me look up-
collide.
When I need to fact check this.
Now, when they say collide, we're not actually going to crash into another star. In fact, it's likely that nothing will actually hit one another, because
Oh yeah, no, it'll just take like two things of water. Go into 0 G, right? And just take two balls of water and just collide them with each other. They won't really they'll warp each other. They're not going to destroy anything. They're just going to warp together.
yeah, the supermassive black holes at the center of both of our galaxies will just kind of encircle one another and get tighter and tighter, and that's pretty much all that will happen. It's very unlikely that anything will really change besides what we see in the night sky.
It'll be in 4 billion years.
Right, and by that time there won't be any life on Earth, because the sun will have expanded and basically used up its fuel, and in the meantime will have scorched the Earth's surface.
Yeah, the Earth will be gone, but the galaxy will still be here.
Yeah, exactly.
I wish we were. I mean, I wish that was happening sooner because, like,
I don't.
no, the galaxy's colliding because, like, I've seen like Photoshop pictures. It's like if the Earth was still here and the Andromeda was gonna collide, if it
Yeah.
was close enough, you
Oh
would see
yeah,
it in
how
the
it
night
would look.
sky.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would see this giant just galaxy in the night sky, and it'd be absolutely beautiful. I
Yeah.
love the night sky, dude. I love watching, going out and watching shit like that. I'm
Hey,
all
if you were
about
still on the
space.
Earth's surface when that happens, the sun's extreme solar flares and expansion of the surface will have blasted away our magnetosphere and probably blasted away the atmosphere too. So you'll be able to see the entire night sky in perfect clarity. However, you probably won't be
Yep.
able to breathe. It's kind of the problem.
That's what gas masks are for, duh.
Yeah. But yeah, space is terrifying and interesting, and there's a lot of things out there that hardly seem believable about it. So, especially considering the vast size and also the probable amount of planets just in our galaxy, not even including the billions of other galaxies that there inevitably are, but the amount of planets that there could be in this galaxy that could support life as we know it. That is, planets that are similar to Earth to a certain extent. There are so many of them that it seems kind of unlikely that life doesn't exist to some degree or another, and that's just Earth-like planets. We don't know what kind of life might arise. We don't know if there's other life out there that doesn't necessarily need carbon and silicon and oxygen and the things
Yeah.
we know to be life.
Yeah, I mean, there's a theory that what's the moon? There's one of Jupiter's moons, Titan,
Titan
I think
is,
it is.
What moon is
covered in
Titan?
ice. Covered in ice.
Is it Saturn or Uranus or something?
No, I think I'm pretty sure it's Jupiter.
It's not
Oh,
Jupiter.
Jupiter moons.
It's not
Jesus,
Titan.
I'm having to check. I fact checked everything. Okay, there's I don't know which one it is.
I think it's Uranus.
Well, it's not Titan then. I know it's one of Jupiter's moons, but basically one of Jupiter's moons is just completely it's just an ocean moon.
Oh, it's Saturn. Titan is Saturn's moon.
Oh, then that's Titan then?
It's oceans of like methane. It's not water.
No. There's one where there's oceans of water. There's a moon, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Shit.
Water moon.
What's it called?
What's the water moon?
Moon. I'm looking up Jupiter's moons because you're right. That one is a Jupiter moon.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I think Europa, is that the one where it has like underwater oceans?
Yeah, basically it's covered in ice, but underneath
Yeah.
it's just vast oceans, and they're predicting that underneath that ice is ocean life. You know,
Yeah.
that's a theory. And didn't we find a planet that?
Yeah. This is it. Europa has the smoothest surface. Blah blah blah. Apparent youth and smoothness have led to the hypothesis that a water ocean exists beneath it, which could conceivably harbor extraterrestrial life. So
Yeah,
it's Europa, a moon of Saturn.
Europa. Okay. Well, we just found a planet, didn't we? That's showing signs of that it may support life.
I'm
like
not sure.
way far away by a distant star.
I'm not sure. Be more specific.
It was all over the place. It was saying that they found a. I can't fucking remember.
Are you
but-
talking about that star that was behaving oddly?
No. They
'Cause that
found a
was the
star that had a planet around it, and the planet was just the right size and just the right distance away from the star to be, as Earth was.
Right.
So, they're saying that it might harbor life. I don't know.
Yeah, sure. If it's like Earth to some degree, or presumably could be like Earth, then then there's the chances obviously higher for Earth-like life to exist in some degree or another. Who knows when the cycle of development could have started? It depends on the age of the star. It depends on a million billion other things. So for all we know, it could be beings more advanced than us, or beings not even close to us. It could be bacteria.
Dinosaurs.
Yeah, or dinosaurs. Who knows?
Yeah, dinosaur type individuals.
Yes.
I love talking about space. I could talk about. Maybe we should save space talk for the next podcast.
Yeah, we should. There's too much to talk about with space. There's always
we could
something.
literally. We could literally have a podcast like 2 hours talking about space
Yeah.
for next week.
That's definitely something we should consider.
That's our plan, everybody. Everybody listening, tune in next. We're not ending the podcast, by the way, right now, but tune in next week for space talk.
Yes.
Because that's what we're going to be doing.
Indeed.
Anyway,
Space.
back to AI. Any other notable mentions about AI that we missed?
Oh, I can't really think of.
Nah, not really. It's just cleverly programmed thing. There's not any significance tied to the AI. I mean, there's not any like AI that's fully functioning yet. We're not even close.
The prediction of the singularity is what everyone likes to talk about.
But isn't...
What?
Go ahead.
Oh, the idea that like the date keeps changing, but people say that by 2040 or 2050, technology should have progressed to the point where a machine with artificial intelligence could presumably improve itself, and once you get to that point, the cycle is pretty much infinite. If you have a machine that can literally make improvements, well, it can improve itself infinitely.
Isn't that weird to think about, though? Like, it makes improvements on itself, and then it makes improvements based off of those improvements on itself.
Which is terrifying because that's an exponential process, which means that it would rapidly evolve potentially. That's the fear of AI, is that it will evolve beyond our control. What happens when you have a machine that's smarter than any human? No human can hope to control it, right? I mean,
what happens when you have a machine that can predict every possible outcome?
Yeah, and literally act upon all of them before you can even think.
Exactly. Like, say you have a gun and you're gonna shoot at it.
Yeah.
Say it's got a thing in its chest that's like, it's like kill switch, right?
Yeah.
As soon as you start pulling that gun out, it's gonna run through over 1 billion scenarios in its head, and it's gonna choose the best one.
Yeah.
Hello, Pinkman TV studio.
Oh yeah, hello. You seen the movie I, Robot? There's that scene where Sonny the robot's like, basically Will Smith's character is pointing a gun at him, and he says, "By the time you fire, I will already have moved my hostage's head in the path of your bullet, so don't bother." You know?
Yeah, it's crazy to think that they can keep upgrading themselves.
Yeah.
To the point where they can predict every possible outcome.
Yeah.
And that's fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
And that's what Elon Musk is trying to warn us about. He's trying to say that we shouldn't really, a lot
of industry leaders are warning us about the potential dangers of AI. Yeah. You got to be careful with the ethics of science.
Well, I mean, yeah, but like, what makes AI self-aware? Like, when it becomes self-aware.
That's a good question. We don't even know what makes us self-aware.
That. Exactly. So it's hard to tell when to stop with AI.
Yeah. Should you stop? Is it ethical to stop? That's another question. I mean, presumably we could make it so that there's no such thing as poverty, or there's no such thing as, anybody ever needing to make money anymore because of the development of technology. So you have to ask. What was that?
Why I hate robots and sex robots taking over.
We talked about sex robots before. Yes.
This guy's on my side. Doug's always trying to shut me up about the sex robots. The boob bot 3000.
Oh God, kill me!
Just clanging tits as it walks around. But anyway, what was I gonna say? Oh, isn't there a test? To see if something is self-aware.
I don't know. I guess the Turing test was the thing I mentioned, but that's not exactly it.
No, there's a test. Oh shit. Keep talking. I'm gonna figure out what this test is. Test. Talk about self-awareness. Like, what do you think self-awareness is?
Self-awareness is the idea that you can recognize yourself as an individual, and you can, like the famous saying, "I think, therefore I am," is the thing that people tend to jump to a lot. The idea that you can recognize yourself as an individual, but then again, the definition of recognize is a little dubious too. Like, they do experiments with animals like elephants, for example, where they put a sticker on the side of their head and then show them a mirror, and the elephant touches the side of its face.
The mirror test. That's what.
The mirror test. That you can recognize that is you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, it's really weird. They did it with monkeys, didn't they?
Yeah, monkeys, elephants. There's a few other animals.
Okay, so animals that have failed. Here we go: sea lions, giant pandas. a lot of primates, birds, fish. Are there any
Right.
that have passed? Like, are there any animals that are self-aware?
Well, I mean, elephants, like I said.
Okay, animals that have passed.
Yeah.
Um, bottlenose dolphins,
Yeah.
killer whales, bonobo apes, chimpanzees, humans, obviously, the elephant, Asian elephant,
Yeah.
Eurasian magpie,
Huh.
and some insects.
Insects.
Adult ant. It says in a Belgian study from 2015, 23 of 24 adult ants scratched at small blue dots painted on their face when they were able to see the dot in the mirror.
Oh, that's strange.
That's weird. That's
Why would an
super
ant?
weird.
An ant's brain is basically just a bundle of nerves. It has no sophistication at all. If you've ever
But it
seen an
looked at-
ant follow another ant, they just. Have you ever heard of that? The circle of death.
Mm-mm.
Basically, the idea is that if an ant is circling, for some reason, if an ant decides to circle something and then another ant sees it and follows it, then the ants will literally starve to death because they will just follow each other in a circle forever.
Jesus.
Like, that's how instinctive they are. It's like their brains are basically non-existent. They're just there for instinct, for
apparently-
autonomical reflex. So I don't know how they could possibly have the sense of self-awareness. It must be some kind of weird gimmick.
A weird species of ant or something. Because
I don't know.
that's the test, isn't it? Like they put something on the animal without them
Yeah.
knowing. Then they show them a mirror, and then the animal will like pick at what's in the mirror.
Right.
Not in the mirror, but on themselves. Like they'll notice something in the mirror and say, "Hey."
Yeah, if
Like-
they recognize that it is them in the mirror, then they will see something on themselves and then attempt to remove it. If they look in the mirror and don't see themselves, then they'll just ignore it because they'll be fascinated with the image in the mirror because they'll think it's another animal or some other thing. Like,
No, here's a weird thing for me. The dogs aren't on here, right?
yeah,
And I don't think dogs are self-aware.
dogs are extremely intelligent though comparatively for animals.
Yes, but here's a weird thing. Here's a question I have. When my dog sees any other dog,
Uh-huh.
he goes bonkers. He'll start barking and snarling and screeching and doing all these other things, and he tries to attack the other dog. Right?
Yeah.
He's a very protective dog.
Okay.
But we have in our garage we have a workout area. Like we have like a mini gym in our garage, and there's tons of mirrors around, so we can look at our fat selves and want to do better. And I mean it's not trying to trail too far off, but it's a good strategy. Like I started getting a gut. You know, I've been skinny, but I started getting a small gut. So like I'll work out without my shirt, you know, and then I'll look and I'll see that gut in the mirror, and I'm like, ugh, I'm like disgusted. So I like
Sure.
work out harder. So going back to my point though, I have to go through the garage to take my dog outside, and I try to point in the mirror. I'm like, that's you. Look, that's you. And he'll look at himself in the mirror and he won't go crazy. You know, maybe that has to do something with the scent. Maybe
It's probably the
He's-
scent, yeah, or the
he doesn't
hearing.
smell anything.
Yeah.
So maybe dogs don't really see each other; they just smell each other, and that's why they attack each other.
I'm sure that they see, but the thing is that they rely on their other senses more than we do.
Yeah, but I mean, he can see. I mean, okay, so even when he's in my room,
Yeah.
and he's looking out the window isn't open. There's no scent getting in. He'll see a dog outside, or he'll see a person walking outside, and he'll go bonkers.
Oh, yeah.
I don't understand. When he sees himself in the mirror, he doesn't try to attack it.
Yeah, I think
does
it's...
he know that's him, or is that just? I don't know. It's weird to think about.
Yeah, that is an interesting question. Who knows, really?
Dogs are intelligent, though.
Yeah, they are. They can learn over 100
advise-
different commands.
I advise anybody out there who doesn't have a dog to purchase a dog, to rescue a dog from your local shelter today.
Yeah, just make sure you keep it for the rest of your lives, or for the rest of their lives,
Yeah.
you assholes. Don't give it up.
Yeah, can you imagine? Like, this is why I'm going to school to be a vet. And I mentioned this on our first podcast. I'm going to school to be a vet because I eventually want to open up an empire of
Empire.
like a huge company of veterinary clinics. I want to shut down every single kill shelter. I want to make it so like when I'm the only person you can buy dogs from. I want to make it like that.
Oh my
Like,
God,
oh,
you're gonna be
I
the
wanna-
John D. Rockefeller of vets.
Yeah, I want to fucking make it so. Oh, I want to buy a dog. Oh, just go on over to whatever I decide to call my company.
Yeah.
Go there, you know, just go on over there. That's what everyone would say. Not like, oh, try to adopt from this place or this place. No, I want to be the only place you can adopt from. When you come in to adopt, we are going to give you background checks. We're going to make sure that there's no animal abuse going on. And when you adopt a dog, I am going to hire people to check in with you once a month for 6 months, for the first 6 months of you owning the dog, to make sure that dog isn't in distress. And if it is, we take it away from you. If it's fine, then we'll leave it. Like, this is not.
Yeah.
To put it into perspective for people out there who don't really understand what dogs go through, imagine being adopted when you're a puppy or a child. So say your adoptive parents come and they adopt you from a foster home, right? They give you all this love and this care, and eventually, say you're like 12 years old or something, right? You're still young, you don't know what's going on, and your parents start acting really rude towards you. They start grounding you all the time, locking you in your room, yelling at you all the time, throwing stuff at you, and then all of a sudden, they just drop you off in an orphanage again. You're back in with an orphanage for no reason. You don't know why. You don't know why they went from loving and kissing and cuddling you to screaming at you and just abandoning you.
Yep.
That's a perfect example. That's exactly what dogs go through when you drop them off at a shelter.
Yeah, humans are scum.
Humans are absolute scum, and I think that only good, loving people in this world should own animals. I mean,
Yeah.
my little sister's friend or something said that she always has birds dying or something because she doesn't know how to take care of them. I'm like, if you don't know how to fucking take care of them, then don't fucking adopt them.
That's the failure of the parent. They don't give a shit, you know?
Well, yeah, I'm just saying, like, if you can't keep an animal alive, if you're not gonna fucking take care of it,
That's
don't
ridiculous.
go to a petting zoo, because people will buy a puppy because it's cute and it's so cuddly.
And as soon as it gets older, yeah.
Yep. I mean, I miss my dog when he was a puppy. He was he looked like a little black bear cub. He was this little ball of fluff. And I remember I would send pictures to you all the time, like, look at that little baba. And he was so cute. I mean, he's still cute, but he's not like adorable anymore.
Yeah.
He's farts and he burps and pukes and does all this nasty shit all the time. Sometimes he'll tear up my bed or something. But I'll yell at him. Yeah, I'll yell at him. I'll smack him on his nose. No, I'll discipline him and tell him, put him in his spot. But I'm not gonna drop him off or scream at him and fucking hit him and abuse him. Because,
awful.
I mean, the other day, perfect example. I saw this guy walking his dog at the park the other day. Like, I was driving into my subdivision, and this guy was like yanking on the dog's leash. Like,
oh, fuck that. I hate people who do that.
He was doing that, and you can see, like, at one point he raised his hand, and the dog, like, as soon as he raised his hand, the dog like fell to its stomach and like flinched.
Oh yeah, so you know he hits him too. Fuck that.
So I fucking pulled my car over, rolled my window down, and I said, yank that fucking dog again and see what the fuck happens, Baldy. Because this is like an older guy. And he's bald. And he looks at me. He goes, I'm sorry, I wasn't doing anything. You know, he started playing the I don't know what the fuck you're talking about card.
Yeah.
And I started getting out of my car, and I was like, I will fucking drop you, dude. And the dog's like barking at me and shit.
Yeah.
And I said, I know what you look like. And I said, I'll fucking follow your ass home. I'm going to keep a close eye on you, buddy. You hit that fucking dog, I'm going to hit you. You hit the fucking ground. Like, I am like red in the face, pissed at this fucking guy. I'm screaming at this guy. I was like, I will fucking kill you. Like, no, I didn't say that, but I was like, I'll fucking drop you, dude. I will fucking have you arrested. And I think I scared him because at one point he just started like walking away, like completely ignoring me. And he wasn't tugging the dog. He was like slowly trying to like gently bring the dog along with him.
He's but he's just gonna go back to what he's doing as soon as he gets home.
I fucking hope he does. I hope I see him do that shit again.
Yeah.
But that's besides the point. Like, if you are gonna do that, like, you could tell he obviously didn't fucking care about the dog.
Yeah.
Then why adopt it?
I think it's a power trip thing. These people, have this animal that doesn't know any better that they can just abuse, and it's just a power thing. Sick people want to be able to,
wrong. I mean, I don't want to sound like a fucking psycho here, but if you want to abuse people or abuse things, abuse another person. Like,
okay.
No, I'm just saying, because people can defend themselves. They can say, no, fuck you, don't fuck me, fuck you. They can defend themselves. I
guess.
But animals are so helpless.
Not children, though.
Well, yeah, not children, but I'm just saying, like, I would rather it be people being abused than animals, because people can maybe do things to change what's happening, whereas animals, they're so helpless. They're
All
so
that animals
innocent.
want is unconditional love. That's what they want. It's not
Yes,
too much to ask
yes.
for either. They don't ask for anything. Like, they want to be fed, and they want to be pet, and they want to sleep, and they want to go outside, depending on the animal. Like,
Yeah.
they don't ask for much. Compared to humans,
No,
they're easy.
they're not asking you for your attention all the time. They're not
Yeah.
asking you for your commitment and all this like other things that humans expect you to give.
Oh, yeah.
They just want love, food, and water, and to be
Yep.
let outside. That's all they want.
Yep.
And
That's just too much for some people because people are
Exactly.
selfish and
I actually
garbage.
we actually rescued a dog. I told you about my dog that recently died from cancer.
yeah.
Um, her name was Lacey. Bless her heart. She was this. She was a coonhound, so big floppy ears, and you could tell she was in a kennel, and you could tell she came from an abused family, because when we brought her in, if I, because I get mad a lot at things and I'll throw stuff, and if I ever raised my voice, you would see she would kind of like run away and like hide in a corner. And anytime I would like raise my hands around her, like if she was like by me and I'd like raise my hands up in the air, like, oh fuck, and like just like make hand gestures, she would flinch.
Oh.
And
yeah.
she would put her tail between her legs, and she would, but I swear to God, that dog was the most loving, sweet dog. If I sat down and I'd say, come here, Lacey, she would come up, and she would pee a little every time too, which, it was annoying, but, she was scared every time she came up to one of us, because she
Yeah.
thought we were going to hit her or something. But nope, she would come up, she would pee a little bit, not too much, just like a little squirt. And we would start petting her, and you would see her whole demeanor change. Like, she would go from being petrified to, when you started scratching her behind her ear, she would like relax and she would lay down.
Yeah.
And it hurt my heart to see her get cancer, and we had to eventually put her down because she could barely breathe. She had lymphoma. So I mean, it was the right call to put her down.
Yeah.
But we gave her a good life. That's the point. That's the point of owning an animal. If you want to own an animal, give it a good life.
Yeah. I agree.
Like you and your cats.
Yeah. I have 2 cats. They're great.
have
One of them
anything else
was
to say?
one of them we
Animals?
got
Go
as a
ahead.
kitten, and the other one we rescued from outside. Its owner had clearly abandoned, or her owner. I don't know why I'm saying it. She's a she. Her owner had
This
abandoned
fucking
her,
thing.
and it was horrible because she had to be outside in the winter, and we were like, oh no, we should, So my mom and I built a little cat hut with blankets so that I'm serious, so that she could go in
It's
it
cute though.
and sleep and be warm. And I don't know if she ever did or not, but she did come to our porch a lot, for attention when she noticed that, we were around. And eventually we were like, let's just, I don't want her to be outside anymore. Who knows what'll happen to her. She's already suffered enough. And it was clear that, she had been abandoned by somebody because she had been declawed and spayed. So she had an owner. So we were like, okay, let's take her in. And we've had her since then. And it's been like, oh geez, how long has it been now? 6 years? And she's great.
Jesus.
She's a wonderful little cat. I'm glad we took her in.
Everybody out there listening, find an abandoned pet, find an abused pet, and take them in and give them a good life.
Yeah.
Because that's all they want.
She's been through like my other cat has lived in just a house his whole life. He was a kitten, like, and he's a dick. Like, I love him and stuff, but he's a real dick. And our other cat, she was like out in the cold. Who knows what her owners did to her? She just got abandoned. She was out there for like ever. She had some kind of injury with her hip. Like maybe she was run over. Like who knows what happened to her? I have no idea. She walks a little funky, but she's fine. And she is the sweetest cat ever. She never misbehaves. She's never done anything like mean or jerkish like the other cats. She's just constantly sweet.
Yeah, because they're grateful for what they have.
Yeah.
I mean, I have my sister's dog is this really rambunctious ball of just, okay, so like imagine instead of putting water in your coffee maker, you put Red Bull. and just
God.
drinking coffee, Red Bull, and he's just a ball of that. And he's so hyper. He chews on things. He jumps up everywhere, and he always barks at me because he always tries to protect my little sister. So if like I walk towards her with a conversation, he'll start barking at me like crazy because I getting too close. And I mean, I always say I fucking hate this dog and fuck that dog. I hate that dog. But it's deep down, like, I mean, I don't know if he's not barking at me. Like I'm like I get down on one knee and I'm like, come here. And he'll come up and he'll start wagging his tail and he'll put his ears back and I'll pet him and everything will be fine. I mean, every animal, no matter how bad they act, they have good in them, and bad behavior can be fixed.
Yeah.
With a little spray bottle every now and then. Just no. But I don't know. The moral of these little sad stories we got going on here is find an animal, love it, care for it, give it a good life, because that's all you can do. And you'll live a happy life because animals are great.
Yeah. Totally.
Are we gonna end on that note?
Yeah, I suppose we probably should.
An hour and 15 minutes. That's pretty good time.
Yeah, I'm gonna start wrapping it up here.
Stay tuned for next week. Or are you gonna give me our ending cue, Doug?
And wrapping it up. Starting right now.
All right, everybody. So thank you for watching. Be sure to tune in next week for when we are. What are we discussing? Space. So space next week. Thank you all for watching. It's been a blast, and I hope you all have a great night and a great week.
Yeah. Bye-bye.